Eric Rowan made his debut in AEW in the night that was strictly dedicated to Brodie Lee, aka John Hubbard. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right. Please, uh, if I'm not, please correct me. But, you know, what a way for him to come out on a night like this. And who knows if he was actually ever going to come to AEW when Brodie Lee was around. But I think AEW did an amazing job tonight to dedicate this whole entire show to Brodie Lee. And I was about 30 minutes late to seeing AEW. But from what I've seen, I think the most touching moment of the night was definitely when the Dark Order went against the Inner Circle, and you had the one moment where Wardlow got involved and Eric Rowan came out and attacked them, and afterwards, John Silver actually went for the discus clothesline, which is really one of the best clotheslines, uh, you know, that I've one of the best clotheslines that I've ever seen, um, you know, in honor of Brodie Lee. And he really, the whole Dark Order had his outfit on, and they was wearing his his gear, and you could really see the emotion. And even this was the first time I've actually even seen Eric Rowan. I don't know why I keep saying Young. Excuse me, Eric Rowan. In emotion, and that's the one thing I liked about this night was, while you had some guys like MJF, they had stay in character while he took the mask. He pulled stuff off of the mask off of Brodie Lee's son, and Brodie Lee's son hit him with like this kendo stick or something, and he fell to the ground, and eventually they lost the match. But I think it was a really, um, just a really good tribute. Everybody that paid their dues to him, from what Chris Jericho said about how, his dog doesn't really like anybody, but from the moment he saw Brodie Lee, he fell in love with him, to, even what Eddie Kingston was saying about him, the bond that he had with Brodie, the stuff he missed saying to Brodie, the picking on Brodie, and just the way that they really conducted this whole thing. And not to say that WWE, because WWE, they had a lot of good references on Raw. I mean, they definitely constantly reference it's Monday, and you know what that means. Tom Phillips even calls the clothesline the Harper Lariat, I believe. So they did a lot of good references. And on Raw Talk, even seeing Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston talk about Luke Harper, aka Brodie Lee, aka his real name, like John Harper. They talked Huber, John Huber. They talked about him throughout Wrestle Talk, which I think was the best way to do it. And so there was a lot of good references on Raw, and you saw it again here. But this was really all completely dedicated to him. And I think they did an amazing job, especially for a show that was originally not supposed to be this. A show that was actually supposed to kind of start the title defense with Kenny and Ray Phoenix, and all the other matches that were supposed to happen for Smash Night, I believe. But they pushed that to next week. And this was just um, a really great tribute that they did for him. Normally, I don't come on here and do videos often when wrestlers pass away, just because it's very hard to do those type of videos. But specifically, you know, especially with all the great wrestlers that we've had pass away this year, from The Rock's father early this year, Rocky Johnson, Pat Patterson, even Jack Gaspard, and the tragic way he passed. I mean, you could just go on and on. There's just so many of them. It's just kind of hard to keep up with. And it's, for him to lose his life in the way that he did, and he actually had been having issues with his lungs for a while, but they kept it quiet because his family didn't really want anybody's mail, which explains why he had been missing since his dog collar match with Cody Rhodes, which he lost the TNT Championship. I had no idea that he was dealing with a lung issue. I had no idea, but it's really crazy to see how far he had gone coming to AEW, and how much further he would have went had he had more time to be here. But I think the tribute they did tonight, especially seeing Eric Rowan come out, and it was a big thing for him. You know, he had just been recently released from WWE not too long ago, and you know, at first you didn't really think he was going to come to AEW because they were kind of trying to do their own thing, but you know, to see him come, you know, really just shows you how close he was really to all of them, and just, you know, everybody that he was around. And you don't really get too many wrestlers that often where they really leave a positive influence to the locker rooms in all wrestling promotions. I mean, from WWE to AEW to even Ring of Honor on their website, you know, because at one point he wrestled in Ring of Honor his earlier career. They even, you know, gave a you know, tribute and mentioned him, and it's just an amazing thing because, like AEW said, they're family, and it was really sad to see, um, you know, a man that's only 41 years old had so much more left in the tank, and you know, he achieved a good amount when he was in WWE. You know, he was a part of the Wyatt family for most of his career. He actually burst on the scene as a part of the Wyatts. They actually showed it, you know, the videos of Harper where pretty much he made his debut on NXT as one of the first members of Bray Wyatt's family, and you know, he had on and off run-ins with Bray and Eric Rowan, but they stayed together majority of the time. Even Braun was a part of the Wyatts back in 2015 before he got drafted to Raw in 2016 and eventually went on his own. But you know, he always uh, you know, played a big role with them. Eventually won the SmackDown Tag Team titles with Eric Rowan at WrestleMania 34, 2 years ago. And, you know, I think him and Eric also, no, maybe they weren't, but he definitely, I mean, he was Intercontinental Champion for a brief time when he beat Dolph Ziggler, and then he squashed Cody Rhodes coming to AEW, winning the AEW Championship once. But, you know, he was a heck of a wrestler, heck of a man outside of the company, you know, just for them to say, for him to balance the personal life and the life inside of the company, to really always want to be with his kids. And I know it's got to be rough for his kids, especially for as young as they are. It's going to be pretty tough for them to really understand fully what's happening and everything. But you know, it's a tough move. You know, for the mother, definitely his wife, and I really feel for them. And I like what Jericho said, that they were going to, you know, do things for them and be there for them, and that he said we promised. And you know, it was just really, you know, just amazing dedication they did to him. I think every promotion that I've seen this far, between them and the WWE, and maybe, like I said, Ring of Honor, from what they even said about him, it was just, you know, really amazing tributes in my opinion. And you know, like I said, Eric Rowan coming out there, I think that probably hit me hard, because you know, I know of all people that he was close to. He was very close to Eric and Bray and Braun. You know, those guys he was very close to. He spent a lot of time with them. They were together a lot. And you know, just seeing their messages that they said about him, it was just really sad. But you know, for everybody that's had something to say about him, I didn't get to see all the messages yet. I gotta look and see what Matt Hardy said, because I know he's had some good things to say about him. I didn't get to see yet, you know, what Wardlow said about him, despite the fact he was playing his heel character in the tag match. But you know, everybody had something good to say about him, and you know, when you have that type of legacy, you could tell that you know, he really was the man. You know, and I really like what they did at the end. They played this, you know, Tony Khan gave a TNT championship to his son and told him that, you know, this is yours to keep. And it was just a really touching moment. And they played the whole tribute of Brodie Lee at the end of the show to put it into the nights. So I think it was just amazing, and I think it was done incredibly. You know, rest in peace to him, and to John Huber. Just a heck of an athlete, a heck of a man, a heck of a husband, a heck of a father. It's really sad. And like I said, you know, my condolences don't just go out to him, but really to all of the wrestlers that unfortunately lost their lives this year. So many of them, it's crazy. Even the ones like Shad Gasper that lost it very early. But yeah, this was definitely an amazing show. I think they adjusted quickly, especially for a show that was pre-taped. They probably had to insert the stuff into the show and maybe completely change the script. I'm not sure how they exactly did it because it had already been taped. But, it was definitely just absolutely incredible. And I'm glad that they did this. It was, just amazing. And again, for someone who had so much more to offer, and was finally getting himself to the top, and probably even would have won the AEW championship at some point. Even though he had a losing effort against John Moxley at Double or Nothing, but it was still a heck of a match. He was one of the first people to kick out of the Paradise Shift, and actually, John had to put him in a submission to make him pass out. But it was just, like I said, just an amazing athlete. Definitely did the most he could. Had great matches with guys like Orange Cassidy as well. The Infinite's title against him. I mean, you just go on and on about this guy. And yeah, definitely great show. Eric Rowan coming out was phenomenal as well. And, even with Ty Conti and Anna Jay with their match against Britt Baker, and who their partner was, but even in that match, they were really in tears after they won the match. They were in tears. And who wouldn't be? But and I know it really hurt for them because that was one of the people who recruited. They had the 6-man tag with Cody Rhodes and 10. 10 actually got the pin. Dark Order's 10. He got the pin against Team Taz, Powerhouse Hobbs, Will Hobbs, and Powerhouse Hobbs and Rick Starks and Brian Cage. He was the one who got the pin for that. So yeah, I mean, it's just a heck of a match. A lot of great dedications. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. So rest in peace, John Weaver. Rest in peace, John Weaver. And amazing show. So I hope that's the flex.